the 628-page COVID relief bill.
The table of contents for this act is as follows.
Every word read aloud in Congress.
We still have a lot of transmission here. We're still in the red zone.
With hope on the horizon, the county's top doctor says we can't get complacent.
I was telling American Airlines, I don't want a refund. I want a voucher.
The Rebound Arizona working to get you what you're owed.
These are people that are trying to put food on their table, trying to help other people who they employ put food on their table.
A Valley business owner threading the needle to keep her doors open.
From the first strings of a Beethoven's concerto to the first bass drop in a Kendrick Lamar track, it all does the same.
The Arizona Opera with a loud and clear message about celebrating our diversity.
Look for the lob up top to DA. Time to eat.
Eating good. Another day, another win for the Red Hot Suns.
So what you doing back here, Hotel Rwanda?
And the wait is over. Eddie and Arsenio are back.
We can't wait. And you know, they kind of like snuck it on us. It was supposed to come out today. Amazon Prime started streaming it last night. Coming to America. Good morning. Happy Friday. You made it to the end of the week. You're watching ABC 15 Mornings. I'm Nick Soleil.
I'm Allison Rodriguez in for Kaylee O'Kelly this morning. We appreciate you waking up with us on this Friday. Yeah, so much to get you started with on your Friday. But first, we do want to check in with meteorologist Iris Hermosillo, who is keeping track of that most accurate forecast. Hey, Iris.
Hey, good morning. Well, you know, we're coming off of a cooler day yesterday, quite a bit cooler than the day before, but our warm up, it's kicking in as early as today. So I told you our cool down would be brief after reaching a high of 71 degrees yesterday, a gorgeous afternoon. Today, we're heading into the 80s again, and it's going to end up being about 10 to 15 degrees warmer than yesterday with a high of 83 degrees in Phoenix. So you know the warm up, it's going to be a quicker one. Now, as you step outside, you'll probably still need a sweater, maybe dress in layers today, layers that you'll be shedding pretty quickly. We're at 52 right now in Phoenix, 45 in Mesa, and upper 40s in Avondale. You'll see that hour by hour forecast. We climb to 70 by as early as 11 a.m. and then our high peaks sit around 3 to 4 o'clock with that high of 83. And the weekend is going to be the warmest of the year so far. I'll show you that in that 7-day forecast.
Okay, Iris, thank you. In about a week and a half, schools across the state will be moving to in-person learning regardless of metrics in their area. Governor Doug Ducey making the announcement this week. Let's get out to ABC 15's Mark Thompson, who's staying on top of this for us. Mark, for schools not prepared for this shift, looks like spring break won't really be a break at all.
No, it might be a working break for some. But yeah, the governor's order really causing some of these schools to make a change to their plans. Specifically, let's look at the Cartwright School District, for example. They had planned to stay virtual for the entire year, but then they just held an emergency meeting last night. So now they're going to be complying with the governor's orders. In Cartwright, they had previously voted to stay virtual again for the remainder of the school year. Now teachers, they've got to get ready for students, and they've only got days to do it. And despite the challenges, the superintendent and a lot of the board members, they say that they are ready. They had a mitigation plan in place for quite some time to prepare for a situation like this.
It was definitely a surprise. And it was a bit last minute, right? Because we have spring break next week. So we have a lot of work to do until then. And again, it's just, I think the pandemic has taught our school district that we need to roll with the punches. And that's what we've been doing.
And the district says that it will be providing enough PPE to all of its sites, staff members. They are continuing to get vaccinated. Right now, 35% have already received their second dose, but some parents, they are opting to keep their children virtual for now.
Main concern is, number one, who's going to clean the classrooms? Number two, how did they invest in any kind of filtration system for, keeping that air circulating?
And they say classrooms, they are set up for social distancing. Plexiglass will be separating administrators from visitors. And when children arrive on the 15th, they'll have their temperature taken and access to hand sanitizer. Now, there are some new state benchmarks for schools in Arizona. The state says that the metrics now are only going to be looking at 1 week of data at a time and not counting reports of COVID-like illnesses. Governor Ducey, in his executive order, says that the only exception to his order will be middle and high schools. that are located in counties with a high transmission rate. Right now, Maricopa County does not meet that criteria. Reporting live this morning, Mark Thompson, ABC15 Arizona. Back to you.
Okay, Mark, thanks for keeping us posted. Meantime, spring break is typically a time when many families get out of town. The CDC is still urging Americans to avoid travel. If you are planning a trip across the border, there's a new federal rule requiring airline passengers to present a negative COVID-19 test before boarding their flights. The test has to be taken within 3 days of your trip.
As more states reopen, health leaders are warning it's too soon. Dr. Anthony Fauci telling CNN states should not ease COVID-19 restrictions until the number of new coronavirus cases falls below 10,000 per day. And right now, the average per day is hovering around 64,000. Now, the last time the U.S. saw less than 10,000 new cases a day was March 22nd of last year. Now, tomorrow, state and local leaders are planning to help out at the state-run vaccination site. And among those volunteering their time, well, Tempe Mayor Corey Woods, Congressman Greg Stanton, and Luis Gonzalez of the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are encouraging people of color and those in underserved communities to get the vaccine if they are eligible at this time. In Gila County, vaccine eligibility is open to every adult, and officials are crediting the county's success to an aggressive communications campaign. They've been working to make sure everyone who is eligible for the vaccine knows they are eligible. They say having enough vaccine supply is also easier when the population is much smaller.
Oh, it's going to be a busy morning in our nation's capital. Let's go ahead and take a live look from Washington, D.C., where lawmakers are heading back to Capitol Hill to resume working on that COVID-19 relief package. They worked well into the early morning hours. But heading home for a brief break, Democratic leaders are vowing to pass the 628-page measure before next week, and they'll do that without Republican support. Some Republican leaders say they're willing to stretch the process for as long as they can.
All I'm trying to do is make this a more deliberative process. Obviously shine the light on this abusive and obscene amount of money that's going to further mortgage our children's future.
And the people of this country have suffered far too much for too long. We need to relieve that suffering. The American Rescue Plan does just that.
Well, once the Senate votes on the bill, it will then head back to the House for final approval before going to the president for his signature. Our state's highest court agreeing to hear constitutional challenges to Prop 208. The new voter-approved tax would be paid by high-earning Arizonans, and the money would go towards boosting school funding. Governor Doug Ducey supporting the request for Arizona's Supreme Court to hear the case. Arguments are set to begin on April 20th.
Well, small businesses have struggled to survive during the pandemic. They're doing what they can to stay open. But hope and help, it's still popping up. You just got to know where to look. Our Carla Navarrete is live with one business that opened only 2 months before everything shut down. What a tough time for her it must have been, Carla.
Oh, definitely. Patricia Gonzalez tells us she was able to open up her business all thanks to her savings and a gift from her son. And now, Allison, she says she's counting on that loan from Chicanos por la Causa to take the next step. Take a listen.
They say attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference.
You can come in here, I can fix anything.
After spending 25 years as a nurse, Patricia Gonzalez decided to open up her own alteration shop. Fabrics, spools of thread, sewing machines, and stitching. It's, after all, in her blood. Her mother, she says, taught her all she knows.
She say, okay, you can help me, but if you don't do it very good, stitch, I can take it off.
And after 2 months of opening up Alteration's Best Stitch, Patricia Gonzalez did all she could to stay open as everything around her was shutting down.
And put my sign on the corner and the people coming here just for the mask. ¿Cómo se dice salvación?
Was my salvation. The masks were your salvation.
As business is slowly getting back to where it once was, Patricia says there's another salvation that's helping keep her business open and her spirits up.
The webinar from Chicanos por la Causa was my medication because I feel really sad, very sad.
Gonzalez is participating in a new loan program between Chicanos por la Causa and Wells Fargo, where $5 million are up for grabs for small businesses like this one.
These are people that are trying to put food on their table, trying to help other people who they employ put food on their table. And Chicanos por la Causa is about empowering lives, and that's what we're striving to do.
The loan she's getting will help pay to convert her current fitting room into 2 and buying industrial-grade sewing machines for all the work that is coming in.
At the new machines for make a very good stitch, the quality is very important for the customer.
Patricia says CPLC is also helping her with marketing tools like point-of-sale upgrades and business cards. In the meantime, she's gotten creative using discarded fabric from gowns to make matching masks.
I can make the mask and free.
All of this in an effort to stay open for years to come.
This pandemic is not forever. I am ready for the next step.
In Phoenix, I'm Carla Navarrete for ABC15 Arizona.
All still to come on ABC 15 Mornings. In a battle with bad habits? Well, don't worry. Our Chelsea Davis is giving us 3 easy tips to break them today.
But up next on ABC 15 Mornings, the fight against the coronavirus in Maricopa County. It's been a long journey, but our leading experts say hope is on the horizon.
Well, it has been more than a year that the first case of coronavirus was reported here in Arizona. Maricopa County, all too familiar with the challenges of this pandemic. According to data from Johns Hopkins, only one other county has more confirmed COVID cases than Maricopa County.
But there is hope on the horizon. I spoke exclusively with Dr. Rebecca Sonnenschein, Maricopa County's top doctor, about what she's seeing and what everyone living here needs to know. Here's part of our ABC 15 Health Insider conversation. Maricopa County, home to nearly 4.5 million people and more than 500,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases over the course of this pandemic. The valley hit hard by the coronavirus, but through the darkness of 2020, there are glimmers of hope in 2021. What trends are you noticing currently with COVID-19 here in Maricopa County?
That our case numbers are continuing to trend downward from a peak in early January. We're also seeing a downward trend in our hospitalizations and thankfully our deaths related to COVID-19.
But Dr. Rebecca Sonnenschein, medical director for disease control with the Maricopa County Health Department, says there are still so many unanswered questions.
They have been steadily going downward. It looks like they may be leveling off, but it's really too soon to say. And we're still not exactly sure why they trended down when they did, but we're grateful to see this trend.
Especially when we factor in those variants, like the one from the UK, which scientists say can spread even faster. According to the CDC tracker, Arizona has more than a dozen confirmed cases.
Some experts are predicting that there may be an increase in March because of that strain becoming the predominant strain in the United States. So we don't know if there will be a third peak, but the most important thing that we can do right now, even though the case numbers are declining, we still have a lot of transmission here. We're still in the red zone, and we want to make sure that people keep wearing their masks, wash their hands, stay home when they're sick, avoid large groups, and importantly, get the vaccine when they can or are eligible to get it.
How concerned are you, Dr. Sonnenschein, about those variants? Are you worried that these variants could somehow derail all the success we've made?
I don't think that it will derail all the success. I think what we know so far is with the UK variant, and that's the one that's most likely to spread and is more contagious. It doesn't necessarily cause more severe disease. It's just more contagious. We know that it responds to the vaccines that we have available. So the vaccine is still very effective.
And the vaccine is still our best way out of this health crisis and into herd immunity. Dr. Sonnenschein says roughly 1 in 5 adults in Maricopa County has received at least 1 dose, with around 20,000 adults getting vaccinated daily. But the process hasn't been without challenges.
Maricopa County is so geographically large, they have to travel very far to get there. That makes it challenging for people without transportation, and that's why we're working so closely with the state to make sure that we have ways to transport people to the pods, and also that we're bringing these smaller vaccine events to vulnerable communities who may not have transportation.
We also spoke to Dr. Sunshine about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and how that could expedite this process. She told us they're expecting to get their first round of doses sometime near the middle of this month. The county also told me on Thursday, that last week they did 25,000 vaccinations. That's actually more than they thought they would. The ABC15 Health Insider team is here to answer your questions. Email them to healthinsider@abc15.com. We also have a section on our website with other Health Insider Q&As as well as stories. Just head to abc15.com/health.
Well, time right now is 6:17. We are waking up to cooler temperatures in comparison to 24 hours ago. Not a huge difference here in the valley, a couple degrees cooler than yesterday at this time, but look at the temperature difference in spots like Winslow and Window Rock. We're talking temperatures that are 10 to 20 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago. So a chilly start, plenty of freezes across northern Arizona. Window Rock, that includes you, you're down to 22 degrees. It's 23 in Heber. Flagstaff, though, has bumped back up above freezing. Our temperature there, 34 degrees right now. 39 in Kingman. Lake Havasu, good morning. You're right at 49 degrees. Meanwhile, Phoenix is checking in at 52. Casa Grande at 43 degrees here. We do have some 40s across the valley. In fact, most of our Phoenix metro area is in the 40s this morning. Queen Creek, you're at 44. It's 46 in Chandler, 48 in Surprise, and 45 in Wickenburg. Meanwhile, it's 49 in Cave Creek, 47 in Deer Valley, and 45 in Laveen. So a chilly start to the day, but it is going to be a quick warm up. The sun already starting to work its way towards the horizon. It doesn't come up until 6:51, but we're starting to see a little bit of that daylight out there. Once that sun comes up, our temperatures are going to climb pretty fast. So we're going to go from the low 50s where we are now back into the mid 50s by 8 a.m. Then I think we're going to see the 60s as early as 9 o'clock. It's going to be great right around then if you want to maybe head out for a walk or a run or a hike around that time. Should be pretty comfortable. Then we get into the 70s by 11 a.m., mid 70s by lunchtime. Great patio weather, and then our high today peaks at 83 degrees. Again, 10 to 15 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. And as you look at that 30-year average listed in the top right corner there of the map, 30-year average is right around 74. So we're talking temperatures that are right around 10 degrees above the normal high for this time of year. So this afternoon, a high of 83 in Phoenix, Mesa, Chandler, 82 today in Goodyear, Surprise, and Peoria, and we'll make it into the upper 70s in Anthem and in Wickenburg. Across Arizona, more 80s to our west too. 82 for Lake Havasu and Casa Grande, 80 in Tucson with a high of 55 in Flagstaff, upper 60s in Payson, and Prescott reaches 67. And the weekend's going to get even warmer. If you're making your way up to Flagstaff or you live in Flagstaff, it's going to be a great weekend to be outside. Temperatures in the upper 50s Saturday and Sunday. In fact, Sunday, we're flirting with 60 degrees in Flagstaff. More breezes through the weekend up north, and we're going to get some breezes here in the valley too on Saturday, but our gusts will peak right near 20 to 25 miles an hour, so not as strong as what we felt just a couple of days ago. Look at those temperatures this weekend in the valley. It's going to be the warmest weekend of the year so far, with a high of 86 tomorrow. That means we see the 80s as early as lunchtime, and then on Sunday a high of 87 degrees, which would mark the warmest temperature we've seen so far this year. If you're going to be outdoors, our air quality in the moderate range, our UV index puts us at our bird time at just 30 minutes, and our pollen counts are going to be high, especially on Sunday, so just keep that in mind if you suffer from allergies. Highs in the mid to upper 80s this weekend, but then there is some relief in sight, more 70s starting Tuesday as we track another chance for rain too. We'll talk more about that storm system in the next half hour.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
Time 6:21. Here's a quick look at the morning commute. This is the I-10 near 32nd Street. Friday lights so far. Not seeing any major issues on our roadways. No crashes or big delays. Coming up on ABC 15 Mornings, it's been 3 decades since Prince Hakeem first came to America, but now Eddie Murphy bringing his beloved character back to the Big Apple. Details on the Coming to America sequel in just a few minutes.
We all have bad habits like biting our nails or checking our phones for social media updates way too often. So on our bulletin board today, we got some great information from our friends at The List, and we're going to help you break these bad habits with 3 tips. Psychotherapist and coach Brooke Miller says when you remove a behavior, it creates a void, so you'll likely replace it with another bad habit. Instead, you need to come up with a list of good behaviors to fill that void. Next time you go to bite your nails, maybe give your hand a massage instead. Next, make yourself accountable. If you're trying to exercise more, but after a long day at work, your habit is plopping down on the couch, instead team up with a friend and schedule a virtual workout session together. A scheduled workout will be the external accountability you need. Finally, use tracking and rewards. Keep tabs on your progress. It's likely you'll be more conscious of your habits if you are keeping it top of mind. And if you're making positive progress, reward yourself. This can help reinforce the new habits and create an urge to stick with it. And that's what's on the bulletin board today.
All right, thanks, Chelsea. You know, it's been more than 30 years, but fans of Coming to America are getting a sequel.
Eddie Murphy returning to his role, but he's no longer a prince. He is now King Hakeem. The sequel stars Hakeem, his wife Lisa, and their 3 daughters with no sons. His throne could be taken away from the family until King Hakeem discovers he has a son in Queens. He and his confidant, played by Arsenio Hall, of course, return to the city where it all began. The movie is streaming now on Amazon Prime Video. As to why Eddie Murphy did a sequel, he says he has made bigger box office movies, but this one is a cult classic, telling the LA Times, quote, "No one dresses up like Axel Foley for Halloween." No love for Beverly Hills Cop, I guess. Excited for this one.
This is going to be awesome. Cannot wait. Hey, next at 6:30, the Arizona Opera gets loud, a new digital series highlighting the best of the West. And we are speaking to the co-creators about this new adventure.
Plus, future airline credits many of you are stuck with after them having to cancel trips last year. Why they're so tough to use. Our Let Joe Know team is taking a closer look at the fine print.